Raw Beat says, what about the cases when they admit to doing the crime to you? Can they still fight for do you still fight for their innocence? So for example, I say, I'm not guilty. No, I say to you, I did it.
Who am I?
You're my lawyer.
Okay.
I say to you, listen, I did it, but I'm going not guilty.
No, you would have a conflict at that point. Like, people always think that, like I said, that's the moralistic argument and the ethical argument that comes into play. If your client admits to you that they have committed the criminal offence, you are duty bound to inform them they must plead guilty. And that you can go to court, by the way. You can take it to trial. If they say, nah, I'm going to plead not guilty and go to court, you can. But you cannot ever advance a positive defence on their behalf at court. You would be lying to the court in doing so. And I have a duty to the court just as much as I have a duty to my client.
Is it recorded?
Yeah.
No, bless.
No. Oh, yeah, let's cut that out.
9 o'clock right now. What's happening, people? Welcome to Free Shots Live at 9 with your boy Marvin Abbey and Tazer Black.
We have a special guest in the building.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, nice to see you guys. I'm a big fan of the show, so it's a pleasure to be here. My name's Sana, aka Petite Persuader. I'm a big lawyer in the game. Criminal defense is my specialty, and yeah, I'm looking forward to
Can you look at me and Marv, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why do you keep looking at it?
I'm so used to looking at myself on a camera.
It's the screen.
So vain.
I'm so sorry.
No, because there's a screen in here, and that's why.
Okay, so I'm supposed to look at you guys, right?
No, but it doesn't look bad though, because if you look at it, it doesn't actually look.
I don't know.
It's actually looking at the viewer.
No, but we're having a conversation. You got to look at me and Marv sometimes,
but
you know?
we're also live. Most of the conversations are with
sorry. I forgot you're a professional here. My bad. Why did you get into law, by the way? Because I have people it just sounds long.
I would love to get into law, but it's long, Brad.
Listen, you won't want to get into law unless you love books and you're a bookworm and you want to study for 6+ years further education. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you want to go into criminal defense, it's not worth it because the bag's not there. The bag is in corporate law and it's in housing and it's in like anything that's private, even family law. Everything else is private apart from criminal defense.
Okay.
Criminal defense, you do get private clients, but mostly it's funded by the legal aid agency. So you're funded by the government.
Okay. So did you find that out once you got the job?
No, I always knew that I wanted to do crime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always knew.
Before we start, what's the next level after that? Like, what could you transition into?
So you can go into a bunch of things. A lot of people are actually at the moment, they're leaving crime to go and do, you can venture into any other area. So you can venture into family. It's very much like intertwined. And you can, if you join a set or a firm that has a multidisciplinary practice, you can basically do whatever you want to do. You can like pick and choose.
Okay.
So you don't have to be a solely crime barrister or a lawyer. You can, like I said, you can delve into any other realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know what I wondered? If I go to the police station and write a statement, like that happens to me, I write a statement.
Okay.
How does this statement get leaked?
What do you mean?
You know, some people have been like...
They go to the station, they release a statement, next minute you're seeing it like, on Instagram and you're like, how has this got from the police station to someone's hand to be able to put on a blog? Like, is this not...
Are you referring to like... is this American? Is this American?
No, here.
Okay, I've not personally seen that.
Okay.
But if it gets leaked, there's a massive issue because it's confidential. It really should be kept within the the confines of the fact.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, like it should be. So I have no idea how this stuff gets leaked. Whether maybe that person sent it to a friend, for example, and then it got spiraled out into the internet. You know what it's like. But I have not seen like prepared statements and whatnot be leaked online. And if they have been, I can't even trust that they're real. You know what AI is like nowadays. So,
are we going down that?
Yeah, we're going to go down there because I find it shocking that stuff could even be leaked in the first place. That stuff should be kept within the confines of you, your lawyer, and the police.
Okay, but how do you prove that something you've seen online is doctored?
Wait, some people say
on Twitter when you get that little AI thing that comes up and it's like
community notes, you know.
The community notes, that's it. Yeah, I'll follow them. No,
because you're right. Like, for example, if something's happened and people are posting a statement saying this was you, but you know it wasn't you, how do you prove it?
I guess at that point, you got to ask the question whether you actually do want to prove it. Because if you want to prove it, you'd put out the real statement.
No, there isn't a statement. Like you said, it could be doctored, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying man said no comment in the interview and then...
Yeah, all of a sudden there's a statement like man said something.
Listen, people are going to chat online regardless. You should know that. Like everybody knows that by now. People are going to believe what they're going to believe. And at the end of the day, as long as you bust case, it shouldn't really matter what online chit-chat is saying. I know that sounds idealistic, but...
So one sec, I think people are saying there's a sound issue on the live. Just double check.
Wasn't it?
Ain't no sound issue, man.
Turn up the volume.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. The sound's fine for me, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Snitches. No, I'm joking. All right, cool. I just always wondered that. Because I know in America, they say it's the police in America. That the police would just have a number on whoever. So, have you seen a thing called the First 48?
No, what's that?
You seen that before?
I've heard of it, I ain't seen it.
So basically in America, there's a thing called the First 48.
Is that like your first 48 hours in custody?
Yeah. Or the first 48 hours of a crime.
Right, okay.
So apparently that's the most key time in a crime is that first 48 hours in terms of forensics, witnesses, there's so many things. And there's people that go on that program sometimes and they kind of snitch on certain people and out of the blue, they're releasing the video, bruv.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing about this person getting killed later or something happened. It's like, isn't there a duty of care from the police to like not release these? Like, how is this video getting released?
Listen, this is America. It's the Wild West. Like, I wouldn't say that stuff happens here as much. Although you do see a lot of news reports releasing people's names the minute that they get charged. And I've got a personal problem with that. Obviously, I'm working as a defense lawyer.
Yeah.
And if just because you're charged with a crime doesn't make you guilty of it.
Yeah.
You have to go through the entire process. Now your name is blacklisted because it's on news reports. So if you're then eventually found not guilty of a crime, which happens to a lot of people, or the prosecution dropped their case along the way, your name is still on a news report which says man XYZ, whatever his name is, stabbed XYZ on embarking, wherever it may have been. So I have serious issues with anonymity in the media because you can't be outrightly just name dropping people without having once they're convicted, cool. The court process is done, fine. But up until then, you can't really be name dropping people.
When did that change? Has that always been a thing?
I think that's always, as far as I'm aware, that's always been a thing. As long as I've been around, which is only 28 years, but for as long as I've known law, it's been a thing.
I done jury service one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was that?
I think it was Snaresbrook Crown Court.
Oh, the worst. The absolute pits. Yeah. Snaresbrook's the pits.
So, wait, what's going on there? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah. Snaresbrook's the pits. Everybody knows that Snaresbrook's the pits. It's fine.
So I done it and it kind of opened my eyes because there was like a massive room and there was maybe about, I might be exaggerating, but there's about maybe 200 people in there, maybe less. And then they'll just call names. Yeah. And then basically, is it 16 gets called initially?
I believe so. I thought it was 14 that got called initially and then 2 get dropped out.
Okay.
Or they're interchangeable.
So that's when it opened my eyes to that. That, for example, then I read up on it and it was like, depend on the case.
Yeah.
So, for example, if there's a man who's on a case and it's sexual assault, he might take some female jurors out of...
That's American law, though.
Oh, it's not here?
Nah. You can't be gender biased. You can't be all of the protected characteristics, your race, your gender, your sexuality, all of that. They cannot pick based off of that.
But he was there though.
No, but the thing is, you wouldn't know why they're being picked. Does that make sense?
Nah, they basically there's in the UK system, it's more so that they write. So that it's the defendant, it's the prosecution barrister and the defense barrister and the judge. Yeah. They all get a say as to who sits on the jury insofar that, for example, if I might have seen you in a corner shop, and I'm the defendant and I think, oh, that guy looked at me funny in the corner shop, I'll write that on a piece of paper. I'll give it to the judge. The judge will make an executive decision as to whether that will cause enough bias in the course of that trial. But if it's more like I actually know that person or I've chatted to them online or he's a mutual of a mutual, it's a little bit more serious.
Oh, no,
there has to be a connection.
No, I'm talking about, so for example, when we got into the court, we were just sitting there and then the defense was looking and I don't know why I'm saying 16, but I thought that I was 16, but I might be wrong about that. And then we got into the courtroom and the defense was like, can we take that person out? leave that person.
How long ago was this?
This was not that long ago, you know.
Really?
It was like, this might have been
Did
like...
they provide reasons as to why they're taking people out?
No, because I think we literally, when we all got in there, they called a certain amount of people and we were like all in the dock, the gallery thing. And then the defense got up and was looking and he just said, no, or something like that. And then a couple of people had to go back into the waiting room. So that's when I was thinking,
So how many people did he eliminate? Do you remember?
I think it was 2 or 3.
That 2 or 3 would have been you could have interchanged it with the additional people, right?
No, I think there was just a certain amount there in the first place. And then some just had to just leave and go back to the room. And then I think then he got his jury. But I was one of the people that stayed, but it was a black boy on a drug case.
Right.
So I knew I was safe. Do you know what I'm saying? But what's mad is that the judge said, only listen to what you hear in these 4 walls and don't bring in any external bias.
Is that hard to do?
Brother,
of course it
in
is.
the room, the brother was on the... I said, nah.
Of course it is. You know, you go home, you see things on social media, you're consuming things, even though you're actually told in court you're not supposed to do that. You're given a list. Like when the judge gives his rules and directions to the jury, you're not supposed to do these things. You're not supposed to look on social media. You're not supposed to talk about with your family members or friends, whoever you're living with. You're not supposed to do any of that. But in reality, your natural biases are there. And then on top of that, your external biases are there. Biases. So it's something you can't, it's unavoidable. The external ones you can control to a certain extent. Your natural ones, you're going to want to free the man them, you know, do you get it? Like you're going to want to find reason and fault in their arguments. It's just natural.
You see me though, like that case, I was like, cool, let me just be objective. And I think his girlfriend was a drug dealer. It wasn't even him. So his girlfriend was white, she was a drug dealer. I think he was like Somali. And the police had like cameras on and they went to pick up food, drugs from her. And he was just chilling. Like he was just chilling with his brethren. And then they walked past him, went to the girl, went upstairs, got the drugs and went off. They raided his house. They took his phones. They found no drugs, no money, no texts, nothing linking him to the crime,
They should have dropped it before then.
In my mind, I'm like, this is to be dropped. You get into the room at the back there, one Eastern European guy's like, I think he's guilty, man. We know how these people are. I said, these people...
This is what I mean. I hate this shit.
I said, what, you can't see me?
I said, you can't see me?
Are you blind? Why are you coming fast? I said, what? And that's when...
So why are you coming fast?
That's when I got the whole, there's this thing with lead jurors. Like, I never understood what that meant, but I get it. Like, there's voices in that room that can decide whether you're free or not.
Have you watched 12 Angry Men?
No, I never watched it.
You need to watch that. It depicts the entire, I mean, it's more American judicial system based, but it's the same premise. 12 jurors sit in a room, it's all in black and white, and you hear the arguments about, I think it's about a murder case. Watched it a while ago, and it's very telling as to, like you said, who's the lead juror, who are the 2 that are really battling and arguing for it. And at the end of the day, judge can give a majority direction, which is like basically saying 10 to 2 can decide for and against. Now, in big murder cases, you shouldn't have a majority direction. Again, like, that's my opinion.
What's the majority direction?
It's like 10 people. So usually it's all 12 give a unanimous verdict. They come to an agreement. It's not that all 12 of them 100% think that person's guilty or not guilty. They just think it beyond a reasonable doubt, right? That's the standard. And then, but in cases, if they take too long to deliberate, for example, the judge can give what's called a majority direction, which means that the jury can, like, it's 10 to 2 instead of 12. So 10 people in favor of a guilty verdict and then 2 people not in favor. And that's fine. The 10 will stand.
When you go home, are you supposed to just shake it off?
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, you pick up, you move on to the next one. Like, there was a statistic talking about mental health of criminal defense lawyers and criminal defense barristers in particular, which was like saying that it's the most from a national health survey or some stuff like that. It's one of the most grueling jobs, and there's not enough support in the system at the moment.
Because you can't talk to no one.
You could talk to your peers, you could talk to your fellow barrister friends about the case, because especially while trial is ongoing, you can definitely do that. You can talk to whoever you're helping prep with, because obviously they would know about the case. You can go home and you can say to your family or friends or whoever it may be, like, or your partner, this is like heavy on my shoulders. But you can't get into it in the way that you want to get into it.
So I see that dynamic in movies all the time, where like the husband or the wife will come home and obviously they want to be their comfort, but they can't because it's like, I'm not supposed to talk about it. So, like in the way they've shown it in movies and TV shows, is that the right way to deal with it? How would you expect someone to be able to deal with that?
It's a tough one, I think. And again, like, it's not just individuals' mental health that's being affected, it's family dynamics that are being affected now. Like, it's not just that you're mentally and physically not present for your child or your partner, it's that you can't even really lean on them in the way that you want to lean on them. And all I would say is, like, do your best to lean on them in whatever capacity you can. And then, like, as cliche as it sounds, like, get your therapy, speak to your, like, have a good network within your firm or your chambers, whatever it may be, because you need to be able to lean on people. And also bear in mind, these people that work in this job are the most desensitized. They are the most desensitized. So you're seeing murder, you're seeing sexual assault, you're seeing this highest form of sexual assault, which is rape. You're seeing firearms and knives everywhere. Just, it's a lot being flung at you. And I think you learn to block it out, almost like it is a movie in a weird way, even though you're dealing with real people's lives and you take that very, very seriously. You want to help people. And those losses can be big, big, big blows to you. Like, I've experienced that myself. It's not easy. Like, when you feel as though somebody hasn't really taken part in the way that the prosecution are making it out. And then they eventually go down for it regardless.
2 questions, yeah. Do you think that women deal with it differently to men? So, because for example, like, I think I saw a program the other day and it was saying how men, when men deal with stuff, they don't speak about it. Like, they go away and whatever. Whereas women, I think it was saying it was an argument between men and women, and I think the psychologist was saying that when women want to get stuff off their chest, they have to speak about it to calm down. When men want to get stuff off their chest, they have to not speak about it to calm down. But then when they're arguing, the woman sees him not talking as, you're not helping. And then he sees her as talking as, you're not helping me. So in terms of you going home and trying to offload, do you think it's different for men and women, as in, because women naturally like to, I can't say talk because it sounds like you like to rabbit and gossip on, but women like to be more expressive and speak about stuff. Whereas men can be a little bit more, I just want to just have a beer and then, do you know what I'm saying? So do you find that with your colleagues that are male and female, there's a difference in how they deal with the stress of the job?
Not the ones that are maybe at slightly senior level.
Okay.
I think, like I said, there is a massive, in the profession, you have to have an element of camaraderie and you have to have an element of being able to lean on each other. So it may be that they may not be going home and talking to their partner, but they will be leaning on other people, like whoever it may be, a friend, a colleague, a mentor, whatever it is. And so I think they probably, like you said, that there are different ways to deal with it. Men are naturally, I personally think they're a little bit more logical than they are emotional, and women are a little bit more emotional than logical. But in this job, when you're acting as a professional lawyer, your emotions can only go so far as to, are they going to help your case? Are you able to draw the emotion out of your client on the stand, for example? Or are you able to use their personal circumstances and your empathy of understanding them to make those 12 random strangers understand them? Apart from that, it's just pure logic. It's tactics. It's like, it's just, so I think in that sense is more like men and women. I don't really see so much of a difference in at least in criminal law in how they deal with things. But like I said, I could be wrong.
And also, what do you do? Because I know you said obviously you're desensitized, or lawyers tend to be desensitized, but how do you work on a case that you believe, you're like, no, this person's not innocent, you know? But I have to make it
prove that
you're innocent. Do you know what I'm saying?
That moralistic argument is extremely, extremely difficult. Thing is, it's not about what I believe, it's about what my client has told me. So if within the confines of a room, he or she has told me that they haven't done this, even though there's evidence that points, it won't be like a closed shut case. It will be evidence that could support the prosecution's theory that they did do this, whatever that crime may be. And there's also evidence that could suggest there's another theory. It's like you're theory playing in that sense. So I'm duty bound to put forward what my client says. Now, if my client I had this the other day. This Listen, it was a crazy case. It was a rape case. And my client, I sat in a room with him. We had a normal conversation. He gave me a completely different version of events to what the prosecution told me. But it was, the police. But it was like plausible, believable.
Yeah.
My gut is usually right. I can usually tell 9 times out of 10. So I said, okay, let's put this forward by way of prepared statement in the interview. Did all of that. Then I got hit with, well, there's DNA evidence. I said, hold on a second. I asked you that question. I said to this officer, I asked you that question when you have disclosure beforehand. I asked you all these questions. You told me, this is what we have, this is what we don't have. So when I asked you about DNA evidence, you said, no, there isn't any.
The police said that. And then
when I got in the interview.
And once he done his prepared statement and read it out, then the police said, we have it.
Yeah, so I stopped the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I need you to call your sergeant. I'm going to make a complaint. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if you decided, you didn't have to disclose all of that stuff to me.
Yeah.
And you can also turn around and say, I'm not in a position to tell you that right now.
Yeah, but
right?
at least you know.
But you've outrightly lied to me. And now you've blindsided me and my client in an interview. So I'm now going to take control of the whole process and shut it down. But the DNA evidence was extremely damning. I'm talking like DNA on underwear. How can you explain that? There's no reasonable explanation that your DNA is on someone's underwear. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. So it was, in those situations, you take people at face value, but you always tell your client, listen, I can only do so much. I'm not a magician. I'm going to go based off what you tell me. If you lie to me, I'm your confidant. I'm your closest friend right now. You can tell me you shot someone in the head and it can't leave these 4 walls unless you allow me to. Yeah, that's duty of confidentiality to your client. So you may as well just tell me what happened. But they don't. Some people want to take stuff to their grave. And I hear it. In rape cases, I hear it.
Remember we spoke about the 2 incidents recently. So you know the one where the woman got caught with drugs. I think, let me read it out so I don't making it up here. Because basically
it was drugs importation, wasn't it?
Yeah, they both got different sentences. So I was just wondering, like, besides stating the obvious, what was the reason why? So one article says a man jailed trying to import drugs through Stansted. His name was caught with more than 23 kilos of cannabis at the border force in Stansted Airport. He was jailed for 6 years. And then an influencer who starred on a Netflix TV show was arrested in Manchester Airport for smuggling 40 kilos of cannabis worth 150K from Thailand last year. She pleaded guilty to being concerned in a fraudulent evasion of a prohibition. Struggling here.
Prohibition.
There you go. On the importation of the Class B drug, and she was handed a suspended sentence. I was like,
why is that?
Yeah, like what? But then you mentioned a few things that was very interesting. So one of the things she said just before she answers was that when you get caught, if you're like, okay, I did it, it's different to someone who lies their way and then evidence proves that they did it.
Oh, that's like they're not guilty. If you say not guilty,
in comparison to
saying guilty, it's different.
Yeah, so that plays a part as well.
Yeah, but why do women like get lesser sentences than men? Like for the same crime. I've never understood that. Like there's times where like there'll be a guy who does something and a woman who does something. The same crime. But then she'll just get less time. And I'm like, I don't understand why they're both adults.
Listen, you got to be in the room at the time when a sentence is being passed down. Because before sentence is passed down, 2 barristers are going to stand up for the guy and the girl and they're going to present what's called mitigation. Her mitigation might be just stronger than his. She may have no previous convictions. He might. And I'm generalizing here. It might be the other way around too. So he should receive a lighter sentence if he's got no previous convictions. It could also be like that, she decided to plead guilty at the first opportunity. That's a third off her credit. She gets credit for early guilty plea. He may have been caught with the cannabis and decided to like run it to trial, saying, I don't know, he could have put forward a defense just because you're caught with it.
Sorry to cut you.
No,
so Rory Beats says, what about the cases when they admit doing the crime to her? Can she still fight for their innocence?
Say that again for me.
So Raw Beats says, what about the cases when they admit to doing the crime to you? Can they still fight for do you still fight for their innocence? So for example, I say, I'm not guilty. No, I say to you, I did it. But
who am I?
You're my lawyer.
Okay.
I say to you, listen, I did it, but I'm going not guilty.
No, you would have a conflict at that point. Like, people always think that, like I said, that's the moralistic argument and the ethical argument that comes into play. If your client admits to you that they have committed the criminal offence, you are duty bound to inform them they must plead guilty. And that you can go to court, by the way. You can take it to trial. If they say, nah, I'm going to plead not guilty and go to court, you can. But you cannot ever advance a positive defence on their behalf at court. You would be lying to the court in doing so. And I have a duty to the court just as much as I have a duty to my client.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you would never be able to get there. You could never get on the stand and be like, yeah, nah, I didn't do this. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It was someone else or whatever bullshit they come up with. It doesn't make a difference. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
That's cool.
That they can't. Yeah. Okay,
But I think that's why people lie then. Because I feel like it's just easier if I just say to you, I didn't do it. Even if I didn't do it. So that you're covered. It's like when they say to you, when you come out in court and they say, can you just put your hand on the Bible or just swear that, listen, man's touching this, but man's still lying though.
Yeah, for real.
People are lying in court.
Of course they are. Left, right and centre. And my thing is that, like I said, the one person you don't have to admit the whole entire truth. But what you can't do is you can't blatantly lie so that evidence comes out later down the line that then makes me look like a schmuck.
Yeah.
Because I'm your lawyer, I'm representing you. But remember, I'm not the one going to jail for this. You are. Like, it's not my life on the line. It's yours. You're playing funny games with it.
I'm trying to think of a TV show example where like...
Not allowed.
All right, okay, cool. What about the Sarah Bloom case?
Yeah.
Who's that?
The girl that I spoke about on the pod before, everyone was saying I said it wrong. The story goes that they went out, got drunk, came back, decided to play a game, and somehow she put him in a suitcase.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Now, see, I'm bad with names, but now you describe the thing.
So
it fully came
put
back
her in
to
a suitcase and put him in a suitcase. Sorry, and then use the opportunity to speak to him because apparently he had been using that.
It's mental. The case is mental.
But then because she was drunk, I think she fell asleep, woke up. That was still his suitcase. He had obviously died of.
Which one is it?
Which one is what?
Why did she put him in a suitcase because he was being abusive to her a long time ago?
No, you can't say a long time ago. They went out that night, came back drunk. They played a game. And then somehow he's ended up in a suitcase. And she's used that opportunity to get onto him to basically say, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. But then there was history. Obviously, they looked into the relationship. There was history that he had been abusing her.
Okay.
So I think the story now changed into that was her opportunity to kind of like, or I think her defense, whatever, that was her opportunity to kind of speak to him, blah, blah, blah. Because she was drunk or under drug influence, she forgot that he was there. So when she woke up, panicked, he was there, called the police.
That he was dead.
He was dead because he was still in the suitcase. So like, let's say you wake up and you decide to go to the toilet and you just keep the suitcase like, bro, you're like, bro, this is bad heavy. What's in that? You open it, it's like, wait, what?
That's why I don't play silly games.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I can't see myself climbing in the suitcase.
Brother, I would never climb. Brother, I wouldn't even come under a bed.
What?
Also, don't get that drunk to be like, if you've got anger issues or you resent your partner, like you shouldn't be. You shouldn't
easier
be.
said than done.
Yeah, I hear it.
But the only issue with that is,
but not to that extent.
Is there? So if you were the, let's do both. If you were the prosecution, what would your argument be? If you were the defense, what would your argument be?
Okay, as a prosecution, my argument would be that this is premeditated murder.
Come on, actors Ray has a damn thing there.
Yeah.
Come on.
I want to ask you with your jury service that you did he get guilty or not guilty?
He got thrown out.
He got thrown out.
Yeah,
no, rightfully so. It should have got thrown out before it even entered the courtroom.
No, sorry, the case didn't get thrown out. We got thrown out.
What? Oh, a mistrial.
Yeah, because one of the jurors. Because when we walked out the room, he was just sitting on a chair, like just there. And I'm like, you're awfully close to the jury, you know? Like, shouldn't you be in there when we walk out and vice versa? Anyway, and apparently one of the jurors said he said something to them when they walked past. So the moment they've done that, the judges had to recall everyone and say, all right, I've got a...
What a waste of time and waste of resources.
We need a whole new jury because... Something.
Yeah.
But that's what it was.
And as a defense lawyer, go back to, sorry, I went round in circles, but premeditated murder as a prosecution and as defense, it's, voluntary intoxication, unfortunately, is not a defense, but you could go, my bad.
What's my bad?
It's manslaughter.
Okay,
so let me read it out, the actual details. Yeah. So sentenced to life in prison on Monday after she was found guilty of second-degree murder.
This Monday?
Yeah.
Oh.
For zipping her boyfriend in a suitcase and leaving him inside for hours until he died. I forgot. She had a video recording herself taunting him when he was in the suitcase. Yeah. And left him overnight to suffocate and die. The defense argued
she didn't intend to do
during
it.
trial that she suffered from battered spouse syndrome and that she was afraid of him. On Monday, they said that he had kicked, punched, spit, raped, stabbed, choked, amongst all forms of abuse.
I didn't know all of that.
She says she forgave herself for falling in love with a monster. And no matter how grotesque he may have become, she still loved him, hoped, and forgave him. So when I told the story, that wasn't context.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So by the time the TikTok's gone viral and all of that, everyone's looking at me like I'm a piece of shit for laughing about when I was telling the story. I'm like, this context wasn't there when I first told the story.
This is what I mean. You have to know all of these details. Are so important.
What, within the first 48 hours?
And definitely not within the first 48 hours. But by the time the case is concluded, this is the stuff that comes out. But you wouldn't know that. You're not gonna be privy to that.
So her defense would have been, I didn't do it.
No, she done it.
Her defense is, I did this. It's clear that I did this. I'm going to accept liability for doing it. But I didn't do it with malice or intent. I did it because I'm a battered and bruised woman. I've suffered. But also I was drunk. But also I forgot. It's like a multitude of things.
Yeah.
But it's a bit, what's the word? Like, it's a bit of a scatterbrained approach.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to stick to a defense, you would ideally want to stick to one.
I thought that
and run with it.
If you were like that, I thought she would have zipped him and cut. And been like, I use it as
drunk.
I use it as my opportunity to get away from this man. This is the only way I could have got away from him.
But she said that she
what's it called? When you have Stockholm syndrome and whatnot. Like when you're.
Oh, you loved him.
Like you obviously still loved him. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been there in the first place. Like
no, I hear that.
you want to stay there. I don't think she genuinely intended to. I mean, that's my defense lawyer brain speaking. I don't know. I can't speak of the intent of an individual that I haven't represented.
Badderman Skank says, how often do you see defendants representing themselves? Does that ever happen over here?
Not. I've been told about it. Like if I've said to a client, oh, has he got a lawyer? Because he needs to lawyer up.
Yeah.
And then they may be like, nah, I think he's going to just run it solo. And I'm thinking...
Run it solo?
Yeah, it's just crazy. The thought of that, I wouldn't do it. And I'm a lawyer. If I ever got trouble, I know who I'm calling. The first person I'm calling. Like, it would be my ex-boss. Because I know he will pattern it, sort it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I think, I genuinely believe, it's the lack of knowledge. I think we watch TV shows and movies too much and we think, I can wing it.
Yeah.
Wing it? Big man.
It's crazy.
What's that show? What's that?
It's not something you want to wing, bro.
What's that movie with Anthony Hopkins where he represents himself in court and he's like fighting against what the hell is his name? He's supposed to have killed his wife.
Yeah.
And then the old school one. What is it?
I can't remember what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about though.
You know which one it is.
Like Lincoln Lawyer and them shows.
Lincoln Lawyer is cold.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of these shows have lawyers or people in the writer's room so they get enough of it correct. There's obviously there's a drama added to it. Like a suspense, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's that show called? Proven Innocent. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Presumed Innocent.
No,
yeah. So Presumed Innocent, yeah?
That's cold still.
Yeah.
But that's cold the way the story unravels. And also, he's like, I'm gonna...
Did you see it coming, by the way? As in the ending?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it coming?
Yeah.
I was rattled.
Yeah.
I said, hold on. But...
No, but I knew it was... I don't want to spoil it for people because they haven't seen it, but I knew it was something because I was like... Because they keep showing certain people and you're like, why do you keep showing me these people? Like, and they're nothing to do with it.
Nah, I did not see that one coming. The only one I thought when he kept probing was the main one.
Yeah.
That last twist, I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What? But yeah. Good show, by the way. Go check it out.
Listen, I've become like, I used to love these shows. I used to love all of these kind of shows. And now there's only so much I can consume alongside that and then my day job. This is like, it's too much. I can't have crime 24/7. Even if it's fictional crime, I can't have it 24/7.
Do you find yourself saying, that wouldn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, but I obviously watch it with knowing that it's not real.
I'm like that with films.
But isn't it different?
You watch it knowing that it's not real?
Oh, sorry, go on.
Okay.
I'm going to say, but is the judicial system in the US and the UK
very different?
That's what I'm saying.
Very different.
So when you watch it, do you understand as in, oh, that wouldn't happen here? Or do you know what I'm saying?
That's why I like shows that are more like Line of Duty and the UK-based ones because
Bad
they are
boy show.
bad boy show. And they're just more relatable. They're just more realistic. And they actually are based, and they've obviously got very, very good script writers that
The twist in that one? Oh, that's one of the
Aren't
best
they
shows
supposed
I've
to be coming
seen.
up with a new season for that?
But I just hope it's the same writer.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is watching cinema is annoying now because all this videography I've been doing, bruv, half of them are not there.
Oh, you feel like you want to direct yourself?
No, it's how easy they've made the scenes that they're shooting look. So you might think, like, for example, when I first found out that obviously I'm watching Game of Thrones, but Homegirl's not riding the dragon like you think she is.
You didn't? I knew that.
No, but like.
That's crazy.
No. What you see and what she's actually doing is what I'm saying.
I know.
Like, for example, in a music video, Kendrick's music video where he's floating in the air, he's still getting driven around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would assume that maybe they're in Malta, shooting her on a fake one.
Okay.
And still getting
So what are they doing?
Green screen. She's just in a room, in a studio.
Yeah, but bro, the dragon's massive, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the dragon. I'm talking about the background. How they get the background. As in the land, as in the setting.
That doesn't surprise me. This is what CGI is, though.
No, but
Yeah.
but some films are still authentic where they've gone somewhere to represent what they're trying to replicate.
No, but
Okay.
Whereas some people, bruv, they've built a set in the studio.
No, but Tay, that's most film. Any film that's heavily cinematic.
Like Lord of the Rings and all them ones.
Even Endgames. Look at the video.
No, I
garbage.
know.
These men are brother. The room is green.
I know.
Captain America.
But are you telling me you wouldn't afford that? Maybe they just locked off a road in New York somewhere, a little block, and done it there. Is what I'm saying.
It might be that that's more difficult to do than using CGI.
No, of course.
Right.
But imagine Snowfall was just green screen. That they weren't in LA. Is what I'm saying.
No, but that's different
I ain't seen that yet.
because Snowfall, there's nothing.
No spoilers, please.
There's nothing crazy that happens in Snowfall.
No,
for it to be fake. But remember, the Hulk's picking up a helicopter and frying it over there, bro.
I didn't use Marvel as an example.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm saying when I saw the video of what she was actually doing and what you actually see, even the acting. Like I watched Smile 2. The horror.
No, not seen that.
Oh.
Horrors, listen.
What's her name? Wait, hold on. I need to get a name.
I don't watch horrors.
No. So for me,
we'll get back to the questions on Taze as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
This guy can talk about
Yeah.
Taze will talk about it though.
We'll talk about it in the third half.
You should have your own pod, just talk about TV, you know.
I know, I love it, man.
It's cinema.
There's certain programs I can't watch anymore, but anyway, I'll maybe talk about it in the next third part.
Yeah.
Someone said, so legally, why do grape cases take so long in the UK? People tend to think that it means there's no evidence when it's not true.
It's a very good
So in
question.
terms of like, I don't want to speak about the word is very triggering, but I'm saying in terms of a sexual assault case, why is there so much red tape around? Obviously, we do know why, but I'm saying, why does it take so long? Why do people say so many of them don't get prosecuted?
Yeah.
Like, can you like shed some light on that?
I definitely can. So with essay cases of any kind, but definitely the grape ones, they are so difficult to prove in court. Remember, the standard is a beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
So that person, you have to be sure, you have to be certain that this person did this. And if there is a shred of doubt in your mind, just one shred, that's all you need. That means they didn't do it. I did 5 in the last 3 years. Only one person was convicted out of them. The rest of them either got dropped by the prosecution and this is like, they've been waiting trial. They're in pen for it. They're on remand, waiting. And like, there's just no evidence against them whatsoever because a lot of these cases are also historic. And by historic, I don't mean like back in 1960. I'm talking like 5 years old is historic. So DNA evidence is not something that is a thing.
Yeah.
Also, it takes a really long time for SA victims to come forward. Some people do it straight away. And if you do have the courage to do it straight away, obviously you would encourage that person to do so. But that's really hard. Like, what services are in place for that person to go and speak to the police and then have to deal with the trauma of what they've potentially experienced? There aren't that many. Like, you could just get put on a GP waiting list for therapy. That's it. Or get diagnosed with depression or whatever it may be. So that's a problem. There's a lot of deterrence in people coming forward because they know they're going to have to go eventually in 3 years' time. So not the delay in between when that person first reports it to when they actually go to court is usually a period of like 2 to 3 years. The case backlog in courts right now is crazy.
3 years.
So they have to deal with that for free. Whatever it is for 3 years.
And it's also, so that means
that person's either roaming free on the streets or they're incarcerated.
For 3 years?
Without trial, by the way, without trial. Dates get set, they get adjourned. Certain barristers drop out because the fee's not high enough. These are all like normal things that happen daily.
How does one determine whether the person roams free on bail or stays in prison for 2 to 3 years? Like, what is
a good
like?
Question. It depends on the severity of the offence.
Okay.
It depends on, because obviously SA offences range. There's a massive range there. Depends on the strength of the evidence against that person at the time that it's being presented to the court at the first opportunity. So that's at the magistrate's court. Like, basically, the police might have only had 24 hours to investigate that crime, or they may have had slightly longer because that person reported it, let's say, today, and then the police have gone and nicked that person in 3-4 weeks. Do you get it? So they gathered their evidence in that period of time. So strength of the evidence, and I think probably previous convictions are most relevant, like previous convictions in relation to SA cases.
Okay.
So if you've got history, if I've committed a lot of thefts and now I'm being accused of SA, they're not really that relevant. Apart from the fact that it just shows I have a dishonest character. That's it. But it's not really like, they're not the same kinds of crimes. They're completely different. Whether there's space in pen is another factor, because you already know the government's been releasing people. Not because they bloody want to, I promise you that. It's literally just, it is a melting pot in there. There's no spaces for people. There's no spaces for people on remand, and there's no spaces for people who are serving. If you're serving time, you get in London, you get sent out like elsewhere into the country, especially if it's a long bad. But if it's a short one, you sometimes get kept here, you're put away from family. There's no space for people.
Where's there no space? Is it in London or outside?
In London, even in the prisons around the country, there's only one women's prison that I know of. Bronzefield, isn't it? HMP Bronzefield.
I think, is it Holloway as well?
Is Holloway still there?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to check that. But basically, it's a melting pot. There's no space. They've shut down a lot of prisons, police stations, and courts. The whole system is just a car crash right now. So if you are planning to go and report, like, God forbid that ever happened to me, but I would have to genuinely think hard and long as to whether that's something I want to do. Because then, come trial day is knocking on your door, you have to stand up in court or be put in like a video screen or whatever and actually say what happened to you in front of a bunch of random strangers, relive what happened to you 2 or 3 years ago and convince these people that your word is enough while you've got another random man who's trained in cross-examination attacking you and what you're saying, calling you a liar inadvertently. Or overtly.
Do you know this remand thing as well? So what happens if a person gets remanded for 2 years, 3 years, and then you're free? What happens if they've lost work or job, or what happens? Is there any compensation, for example, that?
No.
It's just you've just been in jail for 3 years.
Yeah. It's time served. You don't get an apology when you get out, especially if you found not guilty. You don't get nothing. Your life's just changed. You've just experienced prison for that period of time. And you've got to rehabilitate yourself into society however you can.
That's insane.
There's not enough infrastructure in place to support people.
You see, it's insane on like both sides.
Yeah.
Like, so for the woman, it's insane because it takes 2 to 3 years. You have to relive it. You cross-examined. Then you might even get found to be. He might get found to be not guilty, and then.
Or the prosecution might drop the case before it even gets to the courtroom because they say there's not enough evidence.
Cool. If you're the dude or the person on remand, your life has stopped for 3 years, and then once you come out, it's not even a sorry.
Not even a sorry.
It's just
crack on with it, mate. It's all right.
So now it kind of makes sense why some people do the civil
lawsuit.
That would to get money instead of the criminal. I ain't got time for the criminal. Just give me the money.
Yeah.
So now it kind of, people might understand a bit more. Because some people see it as if you ask for money, you're not innocent. I mean, you're not innocent because you want money instead of justice. But then the way you're making it sound is justice is very hard to come by, my friend. So
it's not for this life, I tell you that much.
You might as well take the money.
But listen, I think the system is doing as best as it can. I'm not going to knock it entirely.
Yeah.
It is doing the best as it can. And everybody who's working within it is working their damned hardest. But there's not enough lawyers. There's not enough courts. There's not enough prison spaces for people to go into. There's not enough regulation within like I said about mental health, the whole thing is just, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. And it needs money, if I'm being honest, like everything else does in life. It's a publicly funded system. It needs like to be pumped with a lot of money. But listen, I'm not going to start talking politics because if I do...
No, that's cool.
I got another question. I found out the guy I was dating for 10 months that claims he loves me, has a whole family. We have some sex videos on his phone and he's trying to use them against me if I don't get back with him. What should I do?
What?
Revenge pornography is a big thing at the moment. That is crazy. I'm sorry you're having to go through that. That sounds nuts.
So what?
Listen, ladies, if you're into the video making thing, just make sure it's on your phone and then just sort it out, okay? Because this is crazy.
See, the things I don't understand about it, is that you're coercing someone to stay with you, knowing they don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand what it is that he's trying to coerce her for. Like, what is the coercion?
Because he wants to keep her. She's saying she's going, isn't it?
While he's already got another year. What is this greed, huh?
What is
this greed? This is crazy. How greedy, exactly.
How did she defend herself in that situation?
Could you go to the police?
She can make a report to the police saying that there are these videos that they made consensually, but that now he is threatening to use them against her, and that's revenge pornography. Remember, if you want him to get taken to court and you want some form of justice for us in criminal law, it's not monetary compensation you get. It's that guy being locked away. And if you want that to happen, all of your dirty business is going to be revealed in court. With those kind of cases, it gets revealed. Like, those videos may not necessarily be played, but the contents of them might be discussed.
Okay.
And then it's just like you're shredding apart so many different lives.
Why does it need to get to that?
What do you mean? If she's making a claim to the police and he gets nicked for it.
Why does the contents of the video need to be discussed? I'm just saying he has the videos.
Yeah, it's an inevitability. This stuff just opens up.
Raw.
Yeah, it opens up.
No, but
remember, someone's got to view them videos.
Why?
Someone's got to view them videos.
No, but I'm not saying the video's an issue. I'm just saying he's threatening me to stay with him because he has those videos. Just go to the yard and delete the videos.
So then when the police ask you what the nature of those videos, you describe what the nature of them are. And when they say to you, did you take it consensually or unconsensually? Were you conscious or unconscious? You're going to have to go into the fine, a little bit more of a finer detail. I'm not saying what positions and whatnot.
No.
Yeah, like more, just a little bit of detail.
She just wants the videos gone. Like, delete the videos.
Yeah, well, has he backed them up? Are they on the cloud?
Oh, yeah.
Are they on a memory stick?
Okay.
The thing is, if and also the reason why he's messing with fire, because your wife's gonna find out. Like, you're not gonna go to court without your wife and kids knowing.
Yeah.
Delete the videos, baby.
100%.
I don't understand. Like, but yeah, next one.
Next one. Drugs were found in a bag in a car. I wasn't in.
Okay.
In the bag were letters, parking tickets. I was renting a car out and gave them the tickets to pay. There's no rental agreement, and the car
is in his name.
The drugs were found in not the rental car. I was not at the scene of alleged crime. Can I get done for this?
So the rental is in his name.
Is the rental in his name?
Yeah, but he weren't driving the car.
Because it just says the parking tickets
The way
his name.
he's saying I is mad. Drugs were found in a bag in a car. I wasn't in.
Yeah, he just
He keeps like emphasizing.
Because he's trying to say he's innocent.
Yeah.
In the bag were letters and in brackets parking tickets. I was renting a car out and gave them the tickets to pay.
Okay.
There's no rental agreement, and the car the drugs were found in, not the rental car. What?
So if hold on, there was a bag and the drugs were in the bag with the tickets, and that bag wasn't in the car.
Brother.
So the police must have used the tickets to locate the car and then located him because he's the registered owner of the car or renting the car, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's what I think is happening.
Am I right?
I think he's rented a car.
I
think what he's trying to say is he's rented a car. He's left the bag with tickets and given it back and said, pay the tickets.
Right.
Yeah, but there's drugs in the bag. They found the car, but they've linked the car to him because his name's on the tickets.
Yeah.
Is what I'm...
But who did he try to pay the tickets?
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Why?
Why would you ask the rent?
Well, I'm just trying to make sense of what he said. I'm not
going to lie to you.
It doesn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But in that scenario, what Tay said, then as long as your DNA is not found on those drugs, it's not... the police might argue it's constructive possession. So with drugs, you don't have to have them physically on your person, like on you. They can just be in a car that you're in. or a car that's linked to you in some way, shape or form. Okay, so in this case, it is kind of technically linked to him because he owns or he was renting the car at the time.
Okay, so what if there's 5 people in the car?
Yeah, 5 of them will get nicked.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And it depends where
What
the
if
drugs
no
are.
one claims it?
No one claims it, you're going to court.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're going to court. And then but
Well,
there'll be forensic testing. If none of
yeah.
your DNA is on that,
Yeah.
on the packaging, remember, on the bag itself, they do all these tests. And also you got to remember, it's not just possession of drugs. It's what is on your phone that could potentially suggest possession with intent to supply or concerned in the supply. They want to nick you for the harder stuff in this country. The drug laws in this country, I don't understand why they're more serious than the SA laws. But anyway, the sentencing.
People been screaming
It's mental, but like I said, I'm not a lawmaker, I'm not in parliament, so I can't really discuss that. But
I think people said that the argument for that is drug destroys lives and communities.
there is absolutely nothing worse than being essayed.
No, I hear that, but I think the way they see it is
Right?
But the way they see it is that's one person that's affected, not in a rude way.
Right, I got you.
Whereas if I'm selling drugs in an area, I'm affecting families because that woman who's on drugs, her family's affected by this. He's gonna go and rob and burgle something. His life's gonna be affected by it.
It's a wider community issue.
It's a wider community.
100%,
So I feel like they see it like
I do hear that argument.
But I hear your argument.
But I'm talking about the
of,
disparity in the numbers in sentence is not matching up. It's not adding up.
Yeah.
But
And also one can argue they might be not in their right mind, but people have come to this person for these drugs.
yeah, it's a choice.
I haven't
Isn't it? It's a choice.
like they might not be in their right mind. That's one. It's not a clear choice, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas one is.
Can I just say it's a hard job that you have? It's a hard job, man.
You're telling me, honestly.
Job, just listening to this conversation is
hard,
hard,
and
man.
it's draining. That's why when you go home, you gotta just pull yourself away from it and do whatever it helps you to unwind, whatever that may be.
What's yours? If the ones you can discuss.
Gym, just going out with friends, family, and not talking anything to do with law. But more time, I'm the admin lady in general, so I'll be dealing with people's parking tickets and speeding tickets. I'm that girl.
I'm phoning you.
Yeah, you're not phoning me. No, don't phone me, please.
Speeding tickets. Sorry.
Don't call me. Don't
That's
call me.
what I'm saying. Like, yo,
don't call
got
me.
a new friend now.
I'm not gonna
flash,
answer.
like, sign up. You saying?
I'm not gonna answer.
Who's driving? Not me.
Man said I was not driving, but the rental
Yeah, I think
and the
everyone
bike.
should start saying it like that now.
You got any more? You got shout out everyone in the live. Is there any questions, by the way?
There's 214 of you at the
Yeah,
moment.
big up you lot.
Nah. What are the missing links that you think could fix the justice system for it to be more fair?
Sorry, I was just reading my phone. Say that again, sorry.
What are the missing links that you think could fix the justice system for it to be more fair?
Oh my good God. Talk about a loaded question.
You got all day.
I think jury training in terms of so judges get unbiased training, and I'm talking proper training. Now, does that eradicate their natural biases? No, but it does allow them to, when they're passing down sentences or whether they are the actual, whether they're deciding a case, to be as fair as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Now, juries don't have that. They get told, don't read stuff on, like I said, the external factors and the natural biases. The natural biases they don't get told about. They just expect people to really act fairly. But you shouldn't expect people to act fairly. They don't do that naturally. Like people will want to judge, especially based off of their biases, whether that's how they've been brought up, the color of their skin, their gender, whether there's like protected characteristics like their sexuality, for example. All of that stuff plays a role in how you determine and see someone else.
Yeah.
Even age.
Right? Age is important. There's a lot of things. Like, you're less likely to think that someone who's like a 60, 70-year-old might commit a crime than someone who's slightly younger. That's just a generalization, but it is a thing. So I would say proper jury training might be something to help make the process a lot more fair. These are 12 people deciding your fate.
When you say jury training, do you mean that the juries that they're going to use, they have to sit in a room and do like a 1 or 2 days? Or are you saying schools you want to teach kids?
This is costing money though.
Yeah, of course, it's all costing money. And I think, you know, when you go to school, you get the police officers coming in and talking about certain things, and then you have your sex ed stuff. Like, you have these small little classes, but there's not really anything talking about like the dangers of carrying around knives nowadays and the dangers of carrying around drugs and how you even being caught with a spliff will mean that you're then nicked and taken to the police station. I'm talking like lawyers going into these places and actually saying to people, this is what you should and shouldn't be doing. This is how you need to move. You need to move smarter.
Yeah.
And really and truly, that's just not happening because there's no funding in place for that to happen. So that starting from the bottom is important, but also addressing what's going on when 12 people are deciding your fate is also, but that's the end. So I've gone like start to finish, you know?
Okay. Let's see. I had a little
This is cool, by the way.
It's not.
I had a little
I like.
for the last 5 minutes I got a little quiz for you. So
Oh dear God Almighty!
I don't know if it will play at the same time though.
Play.
As in, like, I was gonna play like a. Do you know what it is? No.
If it's gonna, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna play something, but I think it might cut off the live. All right, question 1. What is the highest court in the UK legal system?
Oh, the Central Criminal Court. Oh, Supreme Court, UK Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Woo!
was a bit confused by that.
Woo!
Are we giving that?
I was thinking, no, I'll take it. Let me warm. Let me warm.
No, I'll give
Let
it
me
to you
warm.
because you didn't wait for him to say it was wrong to answer.
No, I was
You
just confused by the
I'll give you
question.
that.
Alright,
Cool.
cool.
Again, I'm still in my crime mode. So Central Criminal Court is the highest court for crime cases, like crime cases.
But
I
Supreme is just for everything.
Supreme Court is for everything.
Okay, cool.
Okay, there you go. She justified
I've actually
it.
sat in the Supreme Court.
All right,
It's a very
Question
scary
2.
place.
In criminal law, what does mens reas refer to?
It refers to your knowledge and intent behind a crime.
Yep, the mental state or intent of a defendant when committing a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Which 1984 Act governs police powers to stop and search?
Pace.
Come on. Police and Criminal Evidence Act, Pace 1984.
I got to know that by the like the back of my hand at this point.
In which court are summary offences usually tried?
Magistrates.
Come on, got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Question 5. What is the standard of proof required in criminal cases?
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Come on. All right. This one's historical and pop culture. What? Round 2? All right, cool. Let's see.
Oh God.
Which infamous London location was once a site of public executions?
That is a good question. Was it the Old Bailey?
Nah, it says Tyburn.
Huh?
Near modern day Marble Arch. It says
Wow.
it says name the fictional defense lawyer played by Benedict Cumberbatch in the series.
Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Cumberbatch in the series The Child in Time.
Yeah. Listen, I'm born 96. Don't ask me dumb questions, please. I don't know about
Who's
that
the answer
one.
to that?
It's not. I was thinking
Stephen
Sherlock,
Lewis.
but it's not that.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I know you looked at me and I was like, no, it's not Sherlock.
No, Stephen.
That's the only one I know about.
That's what I was thinking, but it's
Yeah.
Stephen Lewis.
I only know about Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock.
All right, cool. Well, you passed the first 5
I
anyway,
passed the main ones.
The main one. Yeah, I mean, I should have done some hard
I
ones
can't
still.
like they were quite easy.
Yeah, they were quite
They were
easy
on the
still.
easier side, which I'm grateful for.
I had a screenshot, but I can't. Cobb something rule? Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh.
I'm looking at you like, what?
I know, I searched it earlier, but
Cobb
I didn't
rule.
save
Cobb
it.
rule.
He's having a mare today.
Was-
So.
No. What did the guy say? I can't remember what the guy said. I thought I took a screenshot. It's basically about taking on a case and you can't.
Oh, cab rank rule.
There we go. See?
Man saying, see,
Yeah, I
you
know,
didn't
I'm
even
just
see
saying,
it, bro.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. What does that mean again?
So,
I knew I
sorry,
saw
you have to
it.
give me a minute. Cab rank rule is a rule that barristers have. It's like part of your ethics code, which means that you can't return certain cases unless there's a conflict. So I don't get to pick and choose what comes through my door.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the rule. It's justice to all. Yeah. As a defense lawyer, I have to be impartial and not let my biases get in the way or my judgment. But the amount of times I sat there and thought, oh, yo, what's going on here? But I'm not going to judge. I'm going to actually just take on the case.
That's what I was going to say. See?
I've got one question here. It says, where's the bail one? What are the conditions of bail and what happened if you breach them?
Don't breach them. Firstly, don't breach them, please, because breach of bail is a separate offence and sometimes slightly more serious than what you've actually been arrested for. If you breach your bail, it's noted on your conviction record and they're not likely to they don't want to give you bail again and they'll use that as an example as to why to not give you bail. Bail conditions are usually for a period of 1 to 3 months, but can be extended again for another period of 3, then again another 3, etc. They can extend it for a period of time. There's usually conditions like not to contact a victim directly or indirectly, not to attend a particular address, to sign on at a police station, to live and sleep at your home address, sometimes to surrender your passport. It's all based off of the actual offence for which you've been arrested. And then bail conditions mean that you have to attend back at the police station within a month or 3 months' time. That's why you need a defence lawyer, because more time you don't actually need to attend. They may want to re-interview you at that point, or they may want to drop the case against you or release you under investigation or charge you. So at that point, you might as well just have a lawyer, get them to email the police and find out from the police what they want to do. And then that way you don't have to stress your own time. Get your lawyer to do that.
See how you said, what was that rule again?
The cab rank rule.
Yeah. So, you know when people say, you should have paid for your lawyer, maybe you would have got off. Is that a thing?
No.
So people just say it?
I mean, it's funny because those 2 screenshots you sent me earlier about the girl and the guy, like she was an OF model, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. No, she was on a TV show.
Was she?
Netflix.
Did it not say OF model on there? Either which way, she is earning above the threshold for legal aid. She will have had to pay privately.
Yeah, an influencer who starred in a Netflix show.
Yeah,
too hot to handle.
Fine. She would have had to pay privately. And so she may have received a level of representation that maybe the other guy, he didn't. He maybe was legally aid funded. That, by the way, legally funded lawyers, barristers and solicitors are not any better or worse than privately funded ones.
Yeah, but sometimes, the
shoes, man.
Listen.
Look at your shoes. Come on, man.
No,
you stepped in. I feel confident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you
Most of my clients are legally funded.
I'm not saying they're not, but
I
I'm just
hear
saying.
you, but if I'm waiting in the police station and they say your lawyer's here, and I come out and it's you, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's rock and roll.
I get.
If I look in the shoes of their slip-ons and they've got elastic on the side, where man, I know I'm done.
Lawyers have rolled through in trackies, and I know them to be the best lawyers in the business.
Yeah, so you're saying perception doesn't matter?
Perception shouldn't matter. I'm saying it does. Hence why I always dress appropriately to the police station.
No, but that guy
and in court.
No, but that guy.
No, but you know what you're talking about.
I know. But I could do both. Do you get it? Like I could go in a tracksuit if I wanted to. More time I want to because it's late at night and I want to be comfy. But I know that if I was in this person's position and I'm the one able to get them out of this 24-hour period in custody, or I can at least do my best to, I would want that person to look prim and proper.
Wait, are you on call 24/7?
Yeah. You know, there's from the time that you're arrested, you get 24 hours at a station unless they want to extend it to 48 or 72. So you get called at any God-given hour.
But any reasonable grounds to extend that 24 hours,
yes.
isn't it?
So you have to have a rank of superintendent or above approving that extension, and there has to be a reason for it. Yeah. And you can oppose it. More time I oppose it. And I'm like, well, you should have done your job in that first 24 hours anyway. You don't need to do this. But in like big cases, like murder cases, they will always extend it.
Or terrorism.
Or like large drugs importation cases. They need time to investigate this crime, and I hear it. So I'll still make my representations, but you know you're not going to really get anywhere with that.
Mm. By the way, live.
Love for tuning in on the live. Very, very insightful, man.
Thanks for coming on, man.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
So, parking tickets, can they...
No, don't call me for that. If you've got some big cases, man, call me for that, man.
Do you want to let everyone know you're at if they or?
I'm kind of private on socials, if I'm being honest. But if you're ever in trouble, then hit up Tazer. And he can let me know that you're in trouble.
All right, cool.
Tazer is toast.
Tazer's the plug.
I don't respond to DM, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you, Brent.